Well, I started doing the bike thing simply because in my main stereo business, I go to a lot of the estate and garage sales in the area. And especially at the estate sales, I help them set up the equipment. I help them price the records and put all that stuff together. So I will see what's out there. A lot of times I'll go to a garage sale and I'm looking for vintage stereo gear and looking for vinyl, and there is none. But I started seeing bikes. When I was a kid, I used to play with bikes all the time. So my joke is, as a child, I learned how to take bikes apart, but as an adult, I learned how to put them back together. It's a lot like what I do in vintage stereo equipment, where a lot of it is very mechanically oriented, like reel-to-reels, turntables, cassette decks. So taking a bike apart is sort of the same thing, just bigger, and usually greasier. A friend of mine turned me onto the whole Craigslist experience, so I started listing him on there. He started me out about a year ago. And next thing I knew, I'd run out of bikes. I'd have 10 people calling for the same bike, and I was making 9 people unhappy. So I started putting a little more effort into it. The next thing you know, they're out here. A lot of them just come out on the train because it's very convenient. And they're taking a bike home. I'd say 9 out of 10 times someone comes out here from the city to buy a bike, they're buying one. And since they usually come out 2 people at a time, a lot of times they're buying 2. My favorite things to find for the kids in the city, I think the most practical, are not single speed or 10 speeds. They are good old-fashioned, fairly lightweight 3 speeds. Your classic English and Austrian bikes from the 60s and 70s and the American versions of those. And those old 3 speeds are so reliable that that's my favorite bike to sell. They're not expensive. Depending on which one I have, I've sold them anywhere from $50 to $150. These are not expensive bikes, especially when you consider a new old-fashioned looking cruiser is about $350 at a bike shop. Now, am I trying to put bike shops out of business? Absolutely not. I wish that every kid that comes out here could afford to walk into a bike shop and have a professional fit them the exact size frame, the exact size bike they need. They buy their kryptonite lock. A lot of the kids that come out here are buying bikes because theirs just got stolen in the city. And they don't have $1,000 to spend. And they don't have $500 to spend. But they'll spend $100 if it's a nice ride. In general, when you consider what I have to pay for the bike, any parts I might put into it, and the labor, I don't really make anything. But I have made a lot of people happy.